Good morning, class 9. Let's continue the same topic, same chapter, that is five kingdom classification. So far, we have learned in the previous video that about taxonomic hierarchy, the different levels of categorization like kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. We define species, and then we also learned about the criteria that must be fulfilled by the living organism to categorize under the same species. Now today we will be learning about the plantae, which is one of the kingdom among five kingdom classification. Now see, these plantae are further grouped into two groups, and they are cryptogames and phanerogames. Cryptogames means all the non-flowering plants. For all the plants, flowers. There are some plants, they do not flower at all. So those plants which do not flower, they are categorized under the group cryptogames. These cryptogames are further categorized as Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta. You may find a little bit difficulty in pronouncing the word, but I think that you might have already learned all these classification in class 6 also. Now, Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta. Now, what are the characteristics of these Thallophyta, Bryophyta, or Pteridophyta? When to categorize a particular plant in Thallophyta, Bryophyta, or Pteridophyta? Now, if you find any plant whose plant body is not well differentiated, not modified into stem, leaves, roots, like you might have seen algae. When you see the algae, the green layer which is usually formed over the pond and all, which is the algae. Algae, when you look at the algae, you can't be able to see its leaf, its root, its stem, but still it is a plant. So those type of plants which are without the stem, without the roots, and without the stem, without the leaves, they are usually categorized under the group Thallophyta. Undifferentiated plant body is often referred to as thallus-like plant body. Okay, thallus-like plant body. Thallus is singular, thalli is plural. Now, under this group, see, you need to remember the examples also. So, I have given two examples here. The examples are Volvox and Spirogyra. Then comes Bryophyta. In Bryophyta, what we see that the plant body is differentiated into stem and leaves, but they lack two roots. Now, what is meant by these two roots? There is the presence of root-like structure in Bryophyta, but these root-like structures, they do not bear any vascular tissues like xylem and phloem. So that is why we consider the root-like structure present in Bryophyta as the false root or not a true root. Okay, they are often referred to as rhizoids. So the hair-like structures which helps in the absorption of water and minerals. In case of Bryophyta are often referred to as rhizoids, as shown in this figure. Then again, after that, these Bryophyta further categorized into two groups, liverworts and mosses. Liverworts, the best examples are Riccia and Markensia. They do not have the stem also. They are almost similar to that of the algae, but still they bear leaf-like structures, and then they bear the false root, that is rhizoids. Mosses, the small plants often grow on the walls, dam walls and all. You might have seen they are mostly Funaria, Pogonatum. Okay, they are usually categorized under the group mosses. Now, after this, one more important point I would like to include here. Bryophyta is often referred to as amphibians of plant kingdom, because in order to grow well, they require both water as well as land. They always require water in order to bring about the fertilization in bryophyta. So though they grow on the dam soil or they are terrestrial, but still they always require water for their fertilization. So that is why this bryophyta is often referred to as amphibians of plant kingdom. Then again comes pteridophyta. Pteridophyta, these plants are the plants belonging to this group are little bit well developed as compared to thallophyta and bryophyta. Their plant body is well differentiated into two roots, stems, and leaves, as they bear vascular tissues in them. The best example of pteridophyta is Drypteris. Drypteris, these are edible also. Bengali people, they call Drypteris as kumra sak. In Nepali people, they call it nimro. Okay, they are edible. And the most important thing about this, another important thing about this pteridophyta is that their leaves bear spores under the surface. The leaf grows like this horizontally under the surface. The spores are present. Suppose their leaves, suppose like this. Okay, under their surface, they bear dot spores. Many spores are present under the leaf. Okay, such spore bearing leaves are usually termed as sporophyll. Sporophyll. Sporophyll means the spore bearing leaf are called sporophyll. Okay, so this is about the pteridophyta. Now we'll discuss about phenerogames. Phenerogames are those plants with flowers. So flowering plants are often referred to as phenerogames. They are usually of two types. They are further classified under two groups: gymnosperms and angiosperms. Gymnosperms, all the plants with naked seed, naked seeded plants, they are usually called as gymnosperms. Gymno means naked. Okay, so naked seeded plants are usually referred to as gymnosperms, and in gymnosperms also there is the presence of leaves which bear spores. Sporophylls are also present, but these sporophylls are compactly packed to form cone-like structure, which are usually referred to as strobili. Strobili is plural, strobilus is singular. Male cone, female cone, both are found here. The best example of gymnosperms are pine, cypress, okay, pine tree, mostly found in hilly areas. Okay, they bear cones, male cone as well as female cones. So they are the gymnosperm. Now comes the angiosperms. Angiosperms, they are the phenerogames. That is, they are flowering plants, but their seeds are not naked. Okay, they enclose their seeds within the fruits. So angiosperms are those plants which enclose their seeds within their fruits. These angiosperms are further categorized into two groups: monocot and dicot. If you are asked about the difference between monocot and dicot, a few things we have already I think we have not learned. Now see, monocot and dicot, the main difference, if you just compare their seeds. In case of monocot, seeds consist of single cotyledon. In dicot, seeds consist of two cotyledons. That is, cotyledon means seed leaf. Then again, monocot, in case of monocot, they show fibrous root system, and in case of dicot, they show taproot system. Taproot, fibrous root, I think you might have learned in class 6. Then again, after that, if you check their leaves. Their leaves, in case of monocot, they are often referred to as isobilateral. That is, the leaves, both the surface of leaf are exposed to the sunlight. But in case of dicot, the leaves are referred to as dorsiventral. That is, only one surface of the leaf remains exposed to the sunlight and the other portion remains hidden. The portion which remains exposed to the sunlight is called dorsal surface, and the portion which remains hidden is called ventral surface. Monocot based examples are rice, maize. Dicot examples: gram, mango. Okay, so this is about different categories or with different groups under the kingdom Plantae. Now, after this, we'll be learning about the kingdom Animalia in detail. Thank you.